Hi, if you're just coming into the digital media industry, and you may have heard the term rate card and wonder what that means. So today I'm going to describe what a rate card is, why it exists, and how it is used. The first thing to understand is that a rate card is primarily used by a digital media sales team. It isn't really applicable in an auction environment or a programmatic environment. In that sense, it was much more common pre, say, 2015. However, it is still used today by a lot of digital media sales teams, and it is still used within the industry for the sale of products like a DSP or an SSP. Before we get into the structure of the rate card, we need to think about the purpose. When a company has a new product that they're trying to bring to market, whether it's a new car or a new game or a new digital media advertising product, it will be defined by some product or engineering group. And at some stage, the sales and marketing team gets notified and they work out how to notify the broader market of potential customers that a product is available and at what cost. Over time, a company may end up with hundreds or thousands of different products that they are selling. And the expectation for how those products change over time is captured in the mechanism. So the rate card is simply the mechanism within media that says what products are available for sale and at what expected price. In that sense, a rate card can be very simple. Let's look at an illustrative example of a publisher with only 5 products that they are selling. Each of these products has a price listed for it in CPM, which is the price of 1,000 impressions. One of the challenges in using a rate card is understanding what that price number represents. In our fictitious world, one might assume that if the publisher is telling the market this is the price of the goods, then all the goods actually end up being sold at that price. However, in practice, most buyers will assume that the rate card prices are merely a signal to the market and they may be able to negotiate for a lower rate. One way that some publishers take this problem is by listing additional price points on their internal rate card. Here I'm differentiating between an external rate card, which is the one that is available to give to other advertisers, and the internal rate card, which will only be seen by the company's internal sales and marketing teams. The publisher may choose to establish a target price. This would be a price that they hope that the sales team will close the majority of the deals at after the end of the negotiation. The publisher may choose to establish a floor price. Depending on the organization, this could have different implications. It could be the absolute lowest price that the product could be sold at, or it could be the lowest price that the sales team can sell at without getting additional internal approvals. It's important to note that the final price of each product may be different from all of these numbers. One complexity in working with rate cards is communicating to buyers what period of time the prices are good for. In digital media, for example, the prices are often higher in Q4 because it is the holiday season. So if we are sitting here in May, the publisher may have a different rate card for Q3 and for Q4, with Q4 having higher prices. Which of course raises the question of what happens if an advertising campaign spans from Q3 into Q4. And all I'll say is that that usually depends on the publisher's policies and the nature of the negotiation. Let's talk about some of the factors that can cause a rate card to become much more complex. The first is that if each product is priced separately. So even for a moderately sized publisher, this can cause an explosion in the number of products that are priced. So for example, here I have a bullet of if the sports page, the NBA site, had a specific product that was the 728 by 90 banner, if that was priced differently than, for example, the sports NFL 728 by 90. Even a moderately sized sports broadcaster would have hundreds of products that they were trying to price individually. The second concept is layering in of audience and demographic targets. And in this example, we sell a product that's called Sports Male 18 to 34 years old as one product. Because of the cross combination of the audience and the physical products, this can scale the number of products rapidly. So for example, in addition to sports men 18 to 34, you would have women 18 to 34, men of different ranges, etc. So just on the sports page, you might have 8 different demographic products associated with the different demographics. Other complexities can include the fact that the products may be segmented into different times of day or different geographic locations. So, for example, selling products for the morning versus the afternoon. Or, for example, selling for individual states, like the state of California only, or targeting an individual DMA. Finally, and I should say that most publishers don't want to deal with this complexity of this last bullet, but some large advertisers may demand that they have their own special pricing, and that essentially requires the creation of their own rate card. And if you are able to do this for all the large advertisers who might want it, you might end up with dozens of additional rate cards. So now it should be clear that rate cards can range from the very simple to the very complex, and the systems that are needed to support them need to scale accordingly. I've seen rate cards as simple as the illustrative examples that I've presented here in the last couple of slides, in which case they may be printed out simply on a piece of paper. The next step up from a physical piece of paper is when we're dealing with dozens to hundreds of products, and this will usually require the use of some sort of spreadsheet. In the case of large companies dealing with thousands of products over multiple time periods, they will usually use some kind of customer relationship management software like a Salesforce. And if they are large enough, they'll end up having to create a custom database and potentially UI to deal with all the complexity.